People keep pushing, we need a smarter AI, but take a step back and think about it. What is the tool that you really need? I think one of the reasons I created my own productivity system is because I'm actually an application developer. I used to develop applications on my own, and I felt like having an application to build gives me a meaningful reason to practice my skills, keep my skills up to date. The other frustration that I regularly encountered was that prior to building my own application, every time I adopted a pre-existing system, right? Let's say OneNote or Evernote, the company would every now and then change a feature or change the subscription model, and that would result in either a break in my flow or me feeling like I have to pay for something unfairly. When I'm building my own application and it doesn't work, I don't have anyone else that I can blame. I have to be fully accountable for keeping the application up to date, fully accountable for the features or its lack of features, and trying to get it to improve. It's kind of like a self-discipline. At the same time, it's the ability for me to fully customize it to the level of my satisfaction according to my needs for the season. There was a period of time in my life when I decided to deprioritize maintaining this application. And what happened over time was that there were a lot of security patches and there were a lot of library upgrades that I didn't do. And by the time I got around to doing them, they were so difficult to do. It really took me a couple of weeks just to get it to the level that it was effective again. So I realized that as a personal habit, I have to keep on building, I have to keep on maintaining those skills and keep on maintaining the system to keep it sharp, to keep it usable. And I think that kind of trains me in self-discipline. It kind of trains me in the work ethic of being consistent, in being responsible, being accountable for something that I use for myself. Seeing life as a system is important because if I just decided that today I'm going to work out as a function of how I feel like doing today, the amount of benefit that could come from working out is very limited, right? But if I look at my workouts as a system, that means I have a workout plan. Day number 1, what I do is cardio. Day number 2 is that I do a set of strength training. Day number 3, I work on flexibility, and I keep to that system and I keep augmenting the system, I keep improving it. What happens over a long period of time is that I can make quite a lot of progress, right? And the amount of working out that I do is very minimal. It's like 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day kind of thing. It's nowhere near an hour at all. And yet I'm able to make decent progress. And all of life is that way. If you make everything that you do in life, like caring for others, like building a team, building a business, as part of a larger system, as opposed to be an event that you do for a day and never do again, I think there's a very distinctive difference in the outcome that can be achieved. When I say trust your capture tools, it's really more like trusting yourself. So when you make a commitment that you're going to look at your capture tool, say once a day, and you're going to go through them and you're going to sort them and you're going to activate around them, that personal commitment makes it possible for you to put something down into your capture tool and know and trust yourself to get down to doing it. Because if you can't trust yourself, what happens is that thing stays in your head and you keep thinking about it and you keep ruminating about it, and it affects the performance of whatever is right in front of you. But what an ideal capture tool should look like, it's something that if you got something niggling around in your head all the time, you can take it out, put it on a capture tool, and actually effectively stop thinking about it. The only reason you can stop thinking about it is because you can trust that that same thing will be picked up at a more appropriate time. If you can't trust that, you can't use that capture tool. So yes, the tool is important, but it's more about the promise that you make to yourself to go back to it, to figure things out at a more appropriate juncture. The reality of life is that things are not always going to go according to plan, and we shouldn't act as if things are going to always go according to plan. It's a bit like hitting the gym. There will definitely be times in your life when your gym routine is messed up. It could be a medical sickness, it could be you're gone for a holiday, it could be work just got ahead of you. But what's really important is the ability for you to bounce back from that, right? So you kind of need to really lower the standards, lower the benchmarks that you set for yourself, back to that incremental step that you can take, the next incremental step that you can take again and again to build up that capability, to build up that capacity that you used to have. And you're going to have to do this over and over again in your life. It's just like getting fit. You're going to have to over and over again refashion and refactor your workout plan in a manner that fits your current state of lifestyle. You're going to have to review and rebuild your productivity system over and over again, depending on the phase of life that you are in, the needs of that phase, the kind of equipping and the kind of tooling that you need to do to be productive and to perform at a high level in every phase of life. A weekly review is very helpful in getting kind of like a step back for the week, right? And then trying to say, okay, so this is where the week started. This was what I was thinking I would be going through at the start of the week. And after executing the week, then you look back and it's like, okay, what went well? What didn't go so well? How do I improve? Right? And taking those incremental steps to improve and make your week better after better and better week after week, that kind of iterative cycle, I think, gives you very good long-run performance gains. Well, I think the typical thing is that if you have a job, you'll have some tasks for the work context, and then if you have a home, you have some tasks for the home context, and then if you're a dad, you have some tasks for the being a dad, right? It could be really, really distracting if you keep on having dad tasks show up on your work context, right? And it's really, really distracting if you keep having work tasks show up in your family context, right? So having a productivity system that allows you to categorize things and put them in the right bucket, knowing that you can easily retrieve them, gives you that kind of trust in your productivity system. And as I said earlier, having trust in your productivity system allows you to focus at every present moment, right? One of the key things that I enjoy about having a good productivity system is that when I'm with people, I am focused on the people. And WhatsApp could be pinging, and work could be pinging, and thoughts could be popping up in my head. And if everything has the right place for the right thing to go, then I can continue to focus on the session, right? If I know that I've cleared out my calendar, if I know that I've set time aside to do a certain task or to be with someone, then I can be 100% present in that moment with that person. And I think that's fundamental, that's key to peak performance. One of the biggest tool arguments that people have is over Mac or Windows. People are passionate about whether or not they should be using Windows or whether or not they should be using Macs, right? And people are passionate about whether you should be using an Android phone or an iPhone. And nowadays, people are passionate over whether you should be using ChatGPT or Windsurf or Cursor or Perplexity, right? All these tools actually kind of fit into our identity. I think that's very fundamental to being human. In fact, a lot of people also identify themselves or part of their identity with like what car they drive, because these tools are tools that actually represent us on the road, and in some sense they are an extension of who we are. It's a bit like the clothes we wear, the headsets that we use are all extensions of who we are. So finding the right tool that you are comfortable with, finding the right tool that allows you to be who you are, to achieve what you want to achieve, that is very important. And it doesn't necessarily mean get the most powerful tool for the job. So one thing that I find crazy about this age of AI tools and AI research is that people keep pushing for, no, we need a smarter AI. But take a step back and think about it. What is the tool that you really need? What is this AI assistance that you really need? Do we really need this very, very powerful AI to help you for this very simple task? Or do we simply need something that is more effective and cheap and resource efficient in getting this particular task done, right? In the same sense, a lumberjack will never use a butcher's knife, and a butcher should never use a chainsaw. We need to find the right tool for the job that we need to accomplish. So depending on what is your role, what is the task, what is the problem you're trying to overcome, choose the right tool for the job. The article is about how to build your own productivity system. A lot of what I've written about from the article is actually riffing off David Allen's Getting Things Done productivity system. Do check out the website, links below. And feel free to like and subscribe and leave a comment.